Alright, so here we have my most recent Bloodlines character. Unfortunately I did just die on it, but you can check that on a different video, see how I get one shot in an Olmex. But yeah, this is my Windripper character. Probably one of the most fun characters I've played this league. Maybe one of the most fun characters I've played ever. Highly recommend it to anyone who can afford it. It is a little expensive to play, but definitely worth it if you can afford it. So first, what is a Windripper? This is the Windripper. It's a unique Imperial bow. It gets up to 100 crit, up to 15 attack speed, high lightning, high cold damage rolls. Um, Basically the highest crit bow you can get currently. Better than any Harbinger, because Harbinger can roll implicit 50, explicit like up to 38, so it won't be as high as this. This can get up to 15 attack speed, which is better. Plus, it gives you the implicit high lightning and high cold rolls. So it's just a really good bow overall. Plus, it gives you the extra quantity when you slay a frozen enemy, and rarity when you slay a shocked enemy. So you're basically always freezing and shocking everything, so it's a really good bow for that. So basically, um, running 4 ores with the build. I guess 2 ores and 2 heralds. Wrath, Anger, Herald of Ice, and Herald of Thunder. In order to achieve this, first we're wearing an Alpha Sal, which reduces the reservation by 8%, having reduced mana on all of our auras, and we grab Charisma in the tree. Only way we're able to run all of these auras, and it reserves exactly 100% of our life. If you want a little bit of, mana. If you want a little bit of mana left over, you can also grab Reduced Mana Reservation up here. That's up to you. But first I'll go over the gear, then the skill tree, and then I'll show you the build in action. So, gear-wise, we have the Windripper. Our main ability is Tornado Shot, linked with Weapon Elite for damage, Life Leech, and Blood Magic, because we have no mana left over. Life Leech because it's the only way to regen our health. We get almost 8% Life Leech back with the gem, minus what the, yeah. And then normally GMP, we actually use LMP in our build, because if you're able to get a +1 quiver, +1 arrow quiver, or a +1 arrow Windripper, LMP is all you need. So, it's really strong. If you get a 6 link, probably go blue socket on it, so you can either run crit damage for maps, power charge on crit for curse immune maps, or item rarity if you decide to get some extra loot, extra drops. It's very versatile, very strong. As I said, we have an Alpha Sal, and our Alpha Sal running Anger, Wrath, and Vol Haste, all linked with reduced mana. Vol Haste doesn't really matter on reduced mana, it's just in here for the +2. We don't have enough sockets for it to be linked with increased duration, that's why it's not. Our quiver, like I said, we bought crit multi weapon LE quivers with life on them, and basically Voldorb them until we got a +1 quiver. Luckily we got it on the second quiver, so it didn't cost us that much money. +1 arrow is really strong since it lets you use LMP instead of GMP, so you get a lot more damage out of it. You lose a more multiplier or a less multiplier from GMP, which is really strong. Our chest is Belly of the Beast, one of the highest life chests we can use. The other option is using a Combs, gives you a lot more life and gives you extra fire damage, but you lose a lot of extra sockets that way. So I'm using Belly. Basically, I couldn't afford a Combs. In our belly, we use a Herald of Ice with a Curse on Hit setup. So reduced mana, Curse on Hit, Assassin's Mark, and then also our gloves have Herald of Thunder, Curse on Hit, Assassin's Mark. What this double Curse on Hit setup allows us to do is when we're far away from the mobs and we're out of range for our Herald of Thunder to be cursing the mobs, we shatter all the time, so the mobs explode. When they explode in the Herald of Ice, it instantly curses everything it hits with Assassin's Mark, and everything that dies has a chance to give us the power charge. If the mobs are close enough to us, our Herald of Thunder goes off, or if we're fighting a boss and our Herald of Thunder is going off, then it curses those mobs. We get the increased damage against them, and then we also have a chance to gain the power charge as well. Also in our chest is a Blink Arrow, linked with reduced mana. Only way we're able to run it, since like I said, we have 0 mana. Our gloves are Malagaros. You want as high as crit multi as possible on these. And then our boots, your ideal boots are going to look kind of like this. So the two most important stats to get on gear for the build are strength and int, just because you're a ranger, don't normally get those stats. You don't want to waste points on the skill tree, getting a 30 int, getting a 30 strength node. So it's really important to get this on gear. You'll see a lot of my gear with strength and int on it. So these are pretty much perfect boots for me, except for they could have a little more life. Max fire res, max lightning res, max move speed. They could have higher strength, but they have strength on them, life, and then an open prefix. The open prefix is really important because boots are one of the off-slot items that you can actually add weapon LE onto them. You can add 4 to 12 weapon LE, which is really good for the build since you're doing all elemental damage. If I had more money, I would take off the weapon LE and keep adding it on to try and get that 12% hit. That being said, you pretty much want weapon LE on all your jewelry as well, your neck, both your rings, and your belt. The more money you get, the more you can afford this kind of items. So my belt is going to be a double life belt, tri-res, with weapon LE. Not the best weapon LE roll, but it's a pretty high one. Definitely a very good belt. Unfortunately, I didn't have enough money / find the right items to have weapon LE on all my gear, since one of my priorities was to be overcapped, which I was successful at. So you're not going to see weapon LE on anything else. But my ring has all the res we need, life, int, as we said we needed, and some rarity. Other ring is all the res we need, life, int, and rarity. And then finally my neck is the res we need, life, int, and strength, and rarity. The reason I intentionally have rarity on everything is just any build, if you can have extra rarity on, is really good. Also, since Windripper gives you an innate 25% quantity and 50% rarity, it allows you to scale rarity even higher. So just from these 3 items, I have 66 rarity, which gives us about 116 rarity, 25 quantity. Other ways to scale this up is to use Aura Seeds as your gloves instead of Malagaros. Your DPS goes down, but your MFing goes up. You can try and make an Anvarius work and just some other ways to do it. So that's basically my gear setup. It's pretty strong. Without power chargers, I'm sitting at 12.4k DPS. And let's go over the skill tree. So normal start for Ranger, grab the attack speed node. Eventually we would be getting this 20% accuracy node. Probably need it now, but I'm trying to finish out getting True Strike first. Come down life evasion nodes, basically grabbing every HP node available that we can get since we're playing a hardcore league. Finesse, go through Heart of the Oak for the life stun recovery. Listed Mastery, Charisma. As we said, you need Charisma in order to run all 4 Heralds and Auras. Come up here, grab Trickery for the crit and LE damage. Life nodes up here. Sniper for proj damage. Proj damage scales your damage really, really well, since it's all LE damage, and proj damage scales that perfectly. Then quickness really doesn't give us anything besides the movement speed, but allows us to get to assassination, which is a really good crit node. We come over here, Harriers, 10% attack speed. The main 2 ways to scale our damage is elemental damage, proj damage, and attack speed. So 10% attack speed is just really good. Life nodes, and then we finish out getting True Strike. Coming down this way, quickness. It costs 2 more points instead of this dex node, but attack speed's really good for scaling our damage, as we said. We grab the life nodes down here. Lethality for the bow, crit, multi-nodes. Ondar's Guile, we're going to be running a lot of evasion, so why not double our chance to evade projectiles. Herbalism and Heartseeker, a really strong crit multi-node over here. We come down here to get King of the Hill. Knockback is really overpowered for bow crit builds, because you can just keep knocking everything away from you every time you crit them. Makes it a lot safer than normal. We're also freezing everything, which makes it really safe as well. We actually come into the duelist tree to get Bravery for the extra evasion and extra life. Art of the Gladiator for the attack speed, accuracy, and then we get Fury Bolts. It's 2 points for 30 proj damage, 20 strength, which we need, and 20 accuracy. Really good and efficient nodes right here. Finally, we come over here, get the whole sign life wheel to get ourselves a little tankier, and we get Vault Pact. Vault Pact is really essential in the build, or I'm pretty sure you'll kill yourself. So we had 4768 life at 79, which I think is pretty good for Bloodlines. Now let's let me go over the pots real quick. Running an instant seething or an instant divine flask, Cell shock, bubbling divine flask, a jade flask for with extra evasion on it for reflect and just general damage, a topaz flask for reflect and herald of the obelisk and any other lightning damage you may encounter, and a quicksilver that removes bleeding. So the pots aren't necessarily 100% optimized, but I used what I had. And so I actually don't have any really high maps on standard since I died, so I'm just gonna throw in this 70. Everything else I have is lower than it, so let's just roll something on it. That's Weapon Alley is one of the few maps you actually don't want to do. So no regen. No regen's no problem with us since we don't regen anyways. No mana, and we're vault packed, so. Alright, here we go. Like I said, in my opinion, the build is really fun. The build is really fun. You can see our Hail of Thunder is not even going off from way back here, and we get our charges really quick. Our DPS is sitting about 15.2k right now. Next level would probably go up by a pretty good amount more. You can see we're freezing and shocking everything. So anytime you hear a mob shatter, you get that extra 25% quantity. Everything's going to be shocked. So you get that extra 50% rarity. Like I said, really good for mething. Also, we're just knocking everything back the second we get close to it because we're critting. Basically just a really good crit bow build that scales that any weapon alley you get on gear, any crit multi you get on gear, just scales it even that much more. You will find with this build, since you have the extra quantity, you have the extra rarity, we'll be getting a lot more rares, a lot more uniques, a lot more everything. So, yeah. Everything gets cursed, everything gets frozen, everything gets shattered. Probably one way. Favorite builds. Here's Ellie Reflect. We do take a little bit of damage from it, but we instantly heal it right back up, and that was without potting. Also want to throw out some credit while I'm here to Afromatic and Kobe. They also have played Windripper characters this build, and we have tossed out some different build ideas to each other in order to find out what we think is best. Kobe's in endgame gear right now, or almost perfect in-game. I wouldn't say almost perfect, but pretty good in-game gear right now. And he's rocking about 60k, I think self-buffed LMP DPS, which is what you're striving for in-game. So, it's really strong. I think it's stronger than a Fizz build I think could probably ever be, except for maybe with a mirrored bow. Trying to just get to the boss room to do that real quick. Here it is. Oh wait, this is Mervo, isn't it? And it's that easy. Yep. So that's basically the build, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Definitely check out my stream, Twitch TV Helman with 3 N's. You can find it linked below. We'll be working on some new build. Might try and go Windripper again, might try something else. So definitely tune in, and I will see you guys later.